Hello and welcome back to Fade the Noise. This is episode 4. I know everybody's probably gotten used to the Fantastic Four being on here, but today we are 3 and I did not take the time to come up with a clever Fantastic Four type thing for that. So happy Friday, everybody. It's been a wild week in the world of sports. I feel like every time I turn around, there is something in my ESPN notifications that is mind blowing. I saw police are looking for Antonio Brown on I thought murder. Apparently, it's attempted murder. Still not great and a definite escalation. We'll dive into some of the sport specific things shortly. For today, we've got our co host, Joe. He is the CEO of Moneyline Hacks, who is the sponsor of this show and a verified MMA expert, #1 on Action Network. Super great Discord. I encourage everybody to go take a look at it, join. It's a fun place. And we've got Angel, who is a fantasy and sports enthusiast, expert, insane person. I don't know. I just know I'm still salty about all the fantasy football games I've lost, but good at what he does. So thanks for joining, guys. Let's kick off really quick with last weekend. So I think we had our last show a week ago on Friday. We were talking about the Kayla Harrison fight and the Marab and Sugar fight, and things did not go the way I thought they would. So Kayla dominated and
My girl.
Suga got spanked. And honestly, I saw earlier today, Cody Garbrandt came out and said that O'Malley looked better in his first fight and he should get back on drugs. And I was like, that's so messed up,
That
but
is messed up.
I get it. Do either of you guys have any comments about last week's UFC card?
I mean, that was an amazing call by Angel. He had Harrison winning by sub. So if you tailed his bet, you won a good amount of money. She got that sub real quick. She's definitely a problem. I was on Pena. I was on Pena for the first Amanda Nunes fight. Right in that wave, thought that she could do the same thing, be a giant underdog, grind her out, and get a finish in the later rounds, but definitely did not go that way. Kayla Harrison's a different beast. She matches up much better against Juliana's ugly style. And she just did what she wanted to her. And she's also a big girl fighting at lightweight in PFL. We don't even have a lightweight division in the UFC. So she's had to cut 20 more pounds just to make that bantamweight 135 limit. So she's a monster. Seems like she's all come together, and I'm not sure if I'll be betting against her in the future, even against Nunes. And it sucks about Amali. I'm a fan of his, but I knew what was going to happen. We said Marab last week by decision, and looks like Marab did get one of those rare finishes I was talking about. So it might be the new way of Marab. He's just getting better and better and better. Even his striking looked better. He looked more comfortable on the feet against Sean, was backing Sean up against the cage and took him down at will. So, it was a good card, but not what I expected.
Yeah, I thought it was extremely entertaining fights, and I know DC caught a lot of heat because right before Marab did the submission, he was saying that Marab isn't a threat for submissions and that Sean should be
Jinxed
fine. I mean, statistically, he's not. It's one of those things like he had a crazy moment of opportunity and stepped up, and it happens. And we'll see what's next for O'Malley. I agree about what you said with Kayla. She is a huge problem. I think it's a little premature to discuss the whole Nunez fight. I think that she might struggle with the weight cut again. And I don't it's too early. I think Nunez has to go into the testing pool. It's going to be at least 6 months, assuming everything, actually happens. And I did see though that a lot of fans were happy with the ref during the Kayla fight because he deducted a point after those 2 kicks when she was on her back, and everyone was saying most refs, you'd get 2 to 3 hard warnings, and then it would get a point deduction. And I guess this guy's an ex fighter and came out and immediately was like, nope, that was illegal. You got 2 head kicks in, doesn't reverse the damage. So I think people are hoping that he has a long career and continues to referee for the UFC going forward.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty good call, but I'd hope he does somewhere in the middle. I think that was a little too quick. We go from 2 to 3 warning refs to not even a warning. So maybe give a warning depending on how much damage the fighter took their illegal shots, which is 0, and just move on.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I also saw a lot of comments that ended with legalize those types of kicks anyway.
For real, we got so many different moves legalized. You could bash a guy's head in with your knee as long as
Crazy.
he's not down. So
Right?
Yeah, I thought that Sean O'Malley fight was pretty good. He looked like his takedown defense was a lot better than the first fight, so it was more entertaining to me. I thought it was going to be more of a striking battle, but yeah, I think Merab just caught him at a bad moment, and he had no excuses this time. He was fully healthy. Crazy good training camp. Supposedly really focused. But Merab is he's looking unbeatable at this point. I'm not sure who he faces next. I mean, Corey Sandhagen has probably been the talk, so it might be a good matchup. But if he takes him out, I just don't see him ever getting beat. He's just really good. Kayla Harrison fight was pretty amazing. Second round, Kimura submission from the side control, which is pretty crazy, but she's strong. She's next level. So if she gets a hold of you, you're done. But that Nunes fight is going to be pretty good. I hope it happens, and I think she'll be more of a match for Harrison than Pena was.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's the super fight to look forward to since Jones and Aspinall will never happen, and neither
Oh
will
my
Jones
God.
and Ngannou. So moving on. The only other UFC related stuff is for those who don't know, Ben Askren is in the hospital and he's been in there for I think since last week. I thought it was heard it. I mean, that's a horrible joke, but I didn't think it was real when my friend told me that he was in really bad shape in the hospital. You have a super healthy person that's very athletic and has generally lived a healthy lifestyle. And then the other day I saw that Baralho came out, had a tweet saying RIP, and it turned into this whole deal. Ben's not dead. RIP does not mean recover in peace. He was posting on Twitter, like, saying RIP just means I want you to be in peace, if the worst should happen. And then he turned around and blamed somebody else. And Joe, if you want to touch on that, I know you told me that he's not the trolling type, and it might just be a misunderstanding, but I still think that's bold to come out and say that.
yeah, I don't know exactly what went on there. He doesn't seem to troll like that, at least. So I feel like it was genuine, but at the same time, I feel like maybe he wanted to push the news out at the same time. So he wrote RIP and jumped the gun, and then it just blew up in his face. But yeah, he said he saw a black and white post off of I forgot, I think Macy Barber. I'm not
Yep.
sure though, and that's what prompted him to say R.I.P. But I think that he was mostly sincere. Some CTE leaked in. I don't know. I don't know.
Damn.
Something slipped through the cracks there.
No, I hear you. Nothing's guaranteed, man. And obviously, we hope the best for him and his family, his recovery. He's a legend of the sport.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
that pneumonia is no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had pneumonia, and it was from a extreme staph infection, developed pneumonia, and then
Crazy.
and then Cormier said he's back home yesterday. That was a line that came out, but Cormier then clarified it after saying he's back in Wisconsin. He got airlifted to a hospital from where he was
Damn.
at to his home state right now
State.
in Wisconsin. So, um, yeah, he's still fighting for his life. But yeah, we got to move on to this weekend's UFC card. More happy things. Let's go.
Yes, sir. We are being treated tomorrow with one of the rare, excellent free cards, UFC on ESPN 69 Fight Night. So
Mhm.
we've got the main event, which is going to be Usman versus Buckley. And
Hey.
this is Kamara's return. I have some thoughts, but we'll get into that later. And then we've also got the co-main, Rose is back, facing Miranda Maverick. So, Joe, give me your thoughts on these matchups. What do you think's going to happen? What are the deciding factors? I can't wait.
All right, I'll start with the co-main event, and then I'll let Angel give some input. Let's start with the fact that Rose is a former champ. She has wins over Zaylee Wayne, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and Jessica Andrade. And those are creme de la creme, especially, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But even now, she just beat Amanda Ribas, someone who was up and coming, someone she was holding open the gate for, and then slammed shut in her face. She beat her with a well-rounded performance. She had, Maverick. Honestly, she had a layup versus Cachoeira. She looked good, but she looks a little shaky when she faces higher level competition. Example: Blanchfield and Macy Barber. Albeit it was a few years ago, but back-to-back losses when she's facing people that are her level up and comers, but with a higher skill set. And that's what she's facing. She's facing someone with a higher skill set this weekend, someone that is a former champ, someone that has faced higher level competition, and someone who has faced high level modern competition as well, and still shutting that gate closed on them. So, Rose looking sharp again. She's taking control of her narrative. This feels like a showcase spot for her to re-enter the mix. Give me Rose and stick around, and we'll have the best bet later on for UFC.
Ooh, can't wait. All right, Angel, what are your thoughts on the co-main?
Yeah, we got Thug Rose coming off the loss and the Maverick coming off the win. So I feel like Rose has to come out and win. She needs to get back on track. I think she might want it more. I think she got some more gas in the tank. As Joe said, former champ. Still looks like a champ to me. Miranda Maverick, 17-5 in the UFC. 8 wins by submission, 1 win by knockout. They match up pretty evenly, but I mean, I just feel like Rose has been through more maybe. So I'm leaning more Rose, as Joe said too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, she's a lot more all-rounded too. Like,
Yeah.
I know her money line's minus 230 or so it's not like we're fooling it, Vegas or
Yeah.
anyone. But
True.
the way you could use that to your benefit, put that in a parlay. That's a solid parlay piece right there.
I like that.
Yeah. Championship pedigree is no joke. All right. And Joe, what do you think about Kamaru Usman's return and him facing the absolute stud that is Joaquin Buckley? Because that's terrifying.
Yeah, so you got Joaquin Numansa Musa Buckley versus Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian nightmare. So this is going to be a good matchup of the old guard versus the new. We're going to see what Buckley has. This is straightforward a test for Buckley to see if he can get that title shot. We know what the secret to Buckley winning is. It's that knockout. Usman has so much championship experience. He has so many rounds in. It's going to be hard to beat him in a 5-round fight and just tick for tat, just beat him off skill. I think he needs to damage Usman early, and then, if it goes to decision, I could see Buckley. That's the only way I could see Buckley winning a decision is if he damages Usman early, bangs him up, knocks his head around a bit, and Usman somehow survives that. I could see then Buckley winning in a decision. That situation right there is probably plus 4,000 in the books. So that's probably not going to happen. So what it's straight path to victory. Usman probably by the decision, using his ground game, mixing it up, holding him against the cage, making it ugly. Hopefully those cartilage and Usman's knees hold up, and he could do all that. But there's so many questions right now. He's 38, just turned 38. He's at the twilight end of his career, and we just don't know what Usman we're getting. But usually when Usman steps in a fight, he's ready to fight, and he never ever looks not like Usman. Even if he has some bad performances, he doesn't look like he needs to hang it up yet. So I'm expecting him to be who we think he is, go in there. And, when Buckley was fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he was getting outpointed, and he was even losing before that knockout, in my opinion. And he caught Stephen Wonderboy. I was on Buckley by KO, and he made my dreams a reality. But could he do that again to Usman this time, a higher level foe? I just don't know. So for that reason, I think I'm leaning Usman by decision has a long prop. There's too many factors to make a whale bet on this fight. I don't want to rely on Buckley that much to get the KO in a 5-round fight, especially. I like the Usman long prop. Give me Usman by decision plus 550, less than a unit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I expected from you, purely from a value standpoint. If we think it's either going to be a Buckley KO or an Usman by decision, which, he's the master of taking people the distance. Has Buckley ever even fought in championship rounds or no?
I don't know. I think he might have once. Not 100% sure, but This is a perfect spot to take. If you like Buckley KO and your heart's set on it, then double it. Double what you're going to put on it. Put a quarter unit on Usman by decision. There you go. You're covered.
Yes, sir. Cover those bases.
I like
Angel, what do you
that.
think?
Yeah, since Buckley has moved to welterweight, he's been 6-0, so he's riding a 6-0 win streak at the moment. They have a tie for the reach, 76 inches. Usman has about 2 inches on him height wise, so I'm looking for a maybe clean Buckley uppercut to that jaw. Maybe 71% of Buckley's fights are won by knockout / TKO. So the probability is there, and we have an extra rounds than he's used to fighting. So I'm looking for that Buckley knockout, like Joe was talking about. But I like
Okay.
it. It's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I mean, both bets are plus money. You got Buckley knockout at
Yeah,
plus
that's good.
140, and then you got the Usman by decision at plus 550. Play
Oh,
those
that's
two,
nice.
get creative, win some
Heck
money.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. Okay, great. Thank you for the insight, guys. That is incredibly valuable, and I can't wait till we get to the lock it in segment. I think it's going to be a great card, a moneymaker, and it's going to be a treat to have this one on. It's ESPN
Mhm.
channel, right? No ESPN
Yep.
Plus?
No, I mean, you can find it on ESPN Plus, like everything else, every UFC event, but you can just find it on the ESPN network tomorrow. So that's, that happens every couple months. So it's going to be a good one. Usually they stack the talent for
It's
those
gonna be a,
network cards.
it's gonna be a treat.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Cool. All right. So let's talk about basketball for a few minutes. The NBA Finals are a nonstop roller coaster. They are trading games. We've got game 4 in Indiana coming up, and against all odds, well, maybe not after game 1, but personally, before the series started, I said no way in hell. But Indiana's leading. The Pacers are showing up. I really would attribute game 2 to some coaching changes and some matchups. They're constantly adjusting. It's a super difficult thing to predict and analyze, and I'm not a basketball expert. So let's see. What do you think about the matchup tonight?
Yeah, tonight's matchup's gonna be a good matchup. Game 4. They say a high percentage of the winners of Game 4 go on, and what's the record? 2-0 right now. So say the Pacers win tonight, they go up 3-1. It's gonna be very hard for Thunder to come back from that deficit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say last game, the winner for the Pacers was their defense and their bench. They played critical parts to that matchup. Like if it wasn't for their defense on Shy, he had not his usual night. Now scored over 30. A lot of people probably had that bet. I had that bet. But I'm looking for a big rebound game tonight from the Thunder. Shy is gonna be he's gonna hit an extra motivation, I think, because they haven't won a championship in history and he's feeling it. So he's gonna do a thing or two. I think the team's gonna come together. They're gonna have a better game plan and just I think Thunder tonight.
Okay. Yeah. Totally fair. And I just looked because I was curious about the odds for the game. And it kind of makes me laugh that the Pacers are leading the series, playing at home, and they're still
Crazy.
plus 180 money
Crazy.
line.
Underdogs, bro.
If
Talk
they end up
about
winning,
under.
everyone's just going to be like, that was free money
Nah.
on the table.
Yeah, it's insane.
We'll see. Joe, what do you think about the upcoming game?
Yeah, so it's going to be a good game. We're going to continue to see, I think, back and forth action throughout the series, back and forth win, loss. I think today will be no different. I do think the Thunder overall, they end up tying the series up at 2-2. Right now they're down 1-2. Thunder's, like you said, it's with all those factors, are still a 71% favorite. Although they've been terrible against the spread the last 8 games. I think they're 0-8. We got in the last 8 games against the spread. That's a sharp red flag, but I do have a really good angle on this game, and I'm going to save that for the best bets segment, lock it in
Ooh.
segment at the end of this show. I will have a good angle on that, but I'm expecting Chet Holmgren to have a big game. A game 4 regression, get a big game 3, double. I think he gets his under on rebounds today. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to hold them on his back, and he's going to have a big bounce back after he was just held to mid-20s in points last game.
40.
Okay. Great. I
40 ball.
can't.
Easy. Easy.
I can't wait to hear what you've got for the Lock It In segment and to see what happens. Honestly, just we'll see how the hero ball thing works out, and I couldn't even begin to predict anything, even talk about it. So we're gonna go with you guys. You know what you're talking about, and we will move on to baseball. So for today's slate, we are looking at 3 games like usual. And first up, we've got the Blue Jays and the Phillies. So that is a hell of a matchup. And Angel, we'll start with you this time. What do you have to say to our audience about that matchup? Because I think that is there's probably a lot of value to be had.
Yes. Yeah. I remember on one of our other podcasts, we had Ranger Suarez, and he did pretty good that game. He's going against Kevin Gausman today. Ranger Suarez is 4-1 on the season, 2.7 ERA. Gausman, 5-4, 3.87 ERAs. A little higher, last 3 games, he's let in 3 runs, 3 runs, 1 run. Suarez is pretty good, but tonight it's going to be a pretty good matchup. Called the Blue Jays. They got some bats. They got Vladdy. They got Bichette. They got this new guy who I just learned about. His name's what's his name? Ernie Clement. This dude's going off. Last 13 games, hitting 385. He's 10 extra base hits. So I think it's gonna be a matchup tonight for Suarez. He's been struggling at home this year, but I think Suarez might give up a few hits tonight, and the Blue Jays might take it.
Okay, 385 is
Yeah.
no joke. All right,
Nah,
thanks for
this dude's
that.
good. This dude's
Yeah,
good.
appreciate that. Joe?
I agree with Angel on Ranger Suarez. He is a beast. 2.7 ERA, one of the steadiest arms in the league. He's going up against Kevin Gausman, as Angel said. 3.9 ERA. He has a good elite swing and miss type arm, but Phillies are actually 28-10 at home. Top record in the MLB. And Gossman actually threw 6 scoreless innings to start last time he started. Suarez allowing 2 earned runs or fewer in 8 of his last 10 games. So we got a pitching duel here, basically. And then get this. Both teams rank bottom 10 in first inning run scoring.
Oh,
What does that equate to? Yep. Yep.
hey,
Yep.
I like
Yep.
that bet.
That's
It.
crazy. A lot
So
of bats.
NRFIs, yep. NRFIs have been hitting. They've hit actually in 6 of the last 8 games of Phillies. So
My favorite bet.
hitting at a 75% ratio right now. So this one sets up a clean NRFI look, or even a first 5 under. 2 guys who know how to navigate lineups the first time through,
Yeah, yeah, great. Thank you. Looks like NRFI is pretty juicy, which, it usually is, especially with, matchups like this and the
Oh
records they
yeah.
have.
What's that line at?
Minus 370. Wait, that's
Ooh.
minus 1.5. Oh, my bad. I'm an idiot.
Never
NRFI is at
seen.
minus 135. I was like, why is that so high? That's
Yeah, I was
that,
like, I have never seen an NRFI with that juicy.
That'd
Hold
be
yeah,
up,
some
you have to
crazy
make me.
odds. They know
that's called
Yeah,
something.
dyslexia.
that's called dyscalculia. You got the numbers one.
I actually didn't know that existed, so I learned something today.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
it's minus 135. I was gonna say if it's that juicy, just parlay it with something else
Yeah,
that we're gonna talk about. And honestly, maybe if there's another good NRFI matchup, the under one and a
Oh
half is a
yeah.
safe bet if
Nah,
someone catches a run.
six
for
So
sure.
hours, 6 outs to glory. I like that bet. Nice and fast.
next up, we've got Mets and Rays. Joe, what do you have to tell us about this game?
Yeah, so we got a pitching matchup. Clay Holmes is actually transitioning from the bullpen, 2.95 ERA, versus Taj Bradley on the Rays, 4.58 ERA. He's just erratic, man. His command and his control. But, Mets rotation actually has the lowest ERA in the majors over the last 2 weeks. Rays offensive cold, scoring under 3 runs a game this week. Bradley's last 3 home starts, 12 earned runs, and 15 IP. So,
Damn.
yeah.
Jeez.
He's not doing too hot. Mets bullpen usage, it could matter, but Holmes is actually on a short leash probably today. I can't say that for sure because I'm not the manager, but I think he'll be on a short leash just coming out that bullpen. Mets have actually cast 3 straight first 5 money lines when facing sub 500 teams. So Mets first 5 might offer more value than the full game here. especially with Bradley's early game issues popping up again, rearing their ugly head.
Absolutely. That was a ton of valuable information. I just went and looked at his stats, and yeah, he is having a rough season. Angel, got anything to add to that?
Yeah, as Joe said, a lot of earned runs for Bradley last couple games. Last game, 7 earned runs, and I look for the Mets to put a couple earned runs on them. You know what I mean? Mets have won 6 straight home games. They just swept the Washington Nationals. Jeff McNeil's been done pretty good for them lately. They got Juan Soto, so it's going to be tough for Bradley, I'll tell you that. But I mean, every now and then he has a 10K game, you know what I mean? So it could happen. Like you said, he's erratic. You don't know what he's gonna do. Could throw 0 earned runs, could be 7. Oh, but I think it's gonna be around 4 or 5 today.
Interesting. Okay, we'll see how the length of the leash, so to speak.
Yeah.
The total's at 8 right now,
Okay.
and I feel like depending on how long they stay in and when they switch to the bullpen, it could be a
Yeah.
deciding factor. That's a tough one.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a good game. And last up, of course, we've got Giants and Dodgers.
Those Doyers.
So, for no reason in particular, favoritism, fandom, Joe, what are your thoughts on the Giants Dodgers game in LA?
So the Dodgers, the greatest team in baseball right now, and my weekly glazing of them. Let's go with the pitching matchup. Logan Webb on the Giants, 2.58 ERA, master of soft contact, versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the Dodgers, 2.2 ERA, oof, sub 1 whip. But yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
good.
Wow.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Plus, Giants are on a 7-game heater. They got a top 3
Ooh.
bullpen ERA over that stretch. Dodgers offense have actually been inconsistent versus top tier righties, and Webb's career actually versus LA is a 1.96 ERA, albeit
Wow.
3 starts, but that's what it is.
That's crazy.
Yamamoto, yeah, wild, right? Well, yeah, Yamamoto is near unhittable at home though, with the sub 2 ERA in Dodger Stadium. He has hit 5 of the last 6 head-to-head matchups for the Giants and Dodgers. This one's feeling like one of those classic under spots. You know, I love my unders, and last Dodger under I gave out on this podcast cashed. So elite arms, playoff atmosphere, 2 bullpens that know how to hold the lead. Check out the under today.
Like
Hell
it.
yeah. Thank you. Angel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, basically said everything. I like it. Like you were saying, that under is set at 7.5 today. So I'm looking at under 7 runs for sure. Not gonna happen for that game today. Tony's been very cold lately. Third in MLB in home runs, but just 1 hit in 6 straight games. Like he's killing my fantasy team right now. I'm about to trade him, but I can't because he's gonna be pitching soon. So I just gotta wait. It's patient long season. But yeah, I mean, if he stays cold, others might not win this game. But then Yamamoto, I personally like him better in this matchup just because he's so good. Dude throws crazy high strikeouts. Last game had 9 strikeouts, so. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty good matchup. Like you said, look for a low scoring game.
Oh, okay. I was curious just based on the history, and so I looked up individual Dodgers batters versus Logan Webb pitching, and some of their best hitters actually have a really good batting average against him, but that means that there's something else going on. Like hits are not translating to runs.
Yeah,
And
couple
so
ducks left on the pond.
exactly. I'm really curious to see how this goes out. Every season, you know, everyone's a new team, regardless of how many people you bring back, and makes it a little tricky to base things on past years, especially if you go really far back. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what an amazing baseball lineup we've got today. Appreciate the insight on that game. And next up, we are going to head into our Lock It In segment. So, this is the chance you have to hear our experts' picks. They are free and they are both very good at what they do. So, enjoy. Gonna make some money. Let's start off with Joe. What are your Lock It In picks?
All right. So my 3 best bets for this Lock It In segment. Let's start with number 1. Blue Jays at Phillies. I talked about the NRFI earlier. That's the best bet. I already went through the stats, but NRFI has hit 75% out of the last 8 Phillies game. Jays ranked 24th and Phillies 28th in first inning run scoring. So both bottom 10, damn near bottom 5. Weather looks neutral, no major wind or heat boost to boost bats. And then with playoff style arms, expect a clean first frame. Give me that NRFI at -1.
Not the minus 371 that I was wrong about. You're
Yeah,
sure?
exactly. Yeah, it hasn't swollen up to 370, -270, but still playable here.
Sorry, go ahead.
For the second best bet, let's go over to the NBA Finals tonight. OKC consistently jumps out early. They led both game 1 and game 3 first halves. Pacers have struggled in the opening frames despite late game wins. Let's go with the Thunder first half -3.5 point spread. For best bet number 3, let's go over to UFC. So like I said, we broke down Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick. Namajunas is -230, I believe, for the money line. So that's not going to be a best bet because it doesn't have that good a value. So let's go with the spread. Rose Namajunas -3.5 at +110. I think she's going to dominate Miranda Maverick all 3 rounds, and when Rose either is in a groove or she's not. There's no in between. So I think she's going to get all 3 rounds.
Thank you. I love that. Excellent way to spot the value available. I know not every book has it, but that's their problem. DraftKings has the spreads. That's all I know. And they are an extremely valuable tool for MMA betting.
Yes, sir. Preach.
All right. Angel, what are you telling us to lock it in today?
Well, today we got 2 best bets. One NBA Finals and one MLB. My NBA bet, we're looking at a fella named Benedict Mathurin. He is quite the name for the Pacers. He's a bench player who went off last game. 27 points. Oh, this dude is crazy. Went 9 from 12 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 7 or 8 from the free throw line. Like, he's not a starter, but he could be and should be. Dude has hit over the betting line of 10.5 points over in the last 3 of 5 games, and this is the NBA Finals. So I feel like he might put up 11 points once or twice more, if you know what I mean. Very low betting line, and I feel like he can get half of what he did last game and hit it pretty easily. So look out for that to hit tonight. That is my number 1 free bet today. And then my second bet today is looking at Ranger Suarez on the mound. His strikeouts is what we're looking at. I got my picture right here. He's hit over 5 strikeouts in the last 4 of 5 games. He had 5 against Pittsburgh last game, and then 2 before that, with 3 before that, 8, 6, and 6. So all he needs is 5 strikeouts. I think it's going to be a kind of a pitcher matchup today with Gasman. So look for 5 strikeouts today.
Great. Love both those picks. And yeah, the Benedict on the Pacers was a great. Yeah.
So good.
I'm so bad at names. That's a really good point, though. Honestly, I mean, the teams
points.
that have the deepest benches, I feel like a lot of the bench players can be starters on other teams, and that's why they're so good.
For sure. It's going to be a good game tonight. High-scoring games, what I'm thinking. So look for it.
Well, you beat OKC. You need that bench to be deep because their defense is so good. So you have a deep bench, that causes issues for them.
Yeah. You can only guard so many players.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you both. Really appreciate the insight and analysis, the picks as well. It's been a great conversation. Appreciate you guys taking the time and everything. Happy Friday to the audience. We have an amazing night and weekend of games and matchups coming. Thank you for watching the show. Have a good time. I hope you make some money. And don't forget to check out Moneyline Hacks.
Let's go.
Go.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
cash.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.